Nearly all men over 50 miss the exact second a woman starts to flirt with them. This does not happen because they are slow or out of touch, but because the signs have changed over the years. She is not going to grab your arm or giggle like a young girl. She will not look at you and say she likes you or boldly ask you out for a drink. Instead, she will ask a simple question. It will be a soft and casual question that sounds normal on the surface, but quietly opens a door. If you do not walk through that door, it shuts just as softly as it opened. That is how these moments get away. You walk off thinking it was just a nice talk, while she walks away thinking you are not interested. You did not say anything wrong, you just did not say the right thing because you did not see what she was truly asking. This is what this video is about. These moments and quiet questions do not sound romantic at all. They show up as quick glances, casual remarks, and little probes women use when they want to test things out without jumping in first. Over the next few minutes, I will walk you through 8 subtle questions women ask when they are interested, but too careful or uncertain to say it directly. You will understand what she is really asking, why it matters, and how to answer in a way that shows you are still in the game. You will not seem like you are chasing or desperate, but just present and fully yourself. Here is the truth. After 50, most men do not need to try harder, they just need to notice more. Once you do, you will start to see interest where you once only saw politeness. You will notice warmth where you thought there was just small talk and real attraction where you once felt invisible. Let us talk about the first question. It sounds innocent, but it is one of the biggest tests she will ever give you. How old are you really? It sounds playful and light. But when a woman looks you in the eye and asks how old you are and adds that word really, she is not looking for a number. She is asking for something much deeper. She already knows you are not 30. She is not playing a game for fun. She is checking how comfortable you are with yourself. She wants to know if you carry your age like a heavy weight or like a badge of honor. The way you answer tells her everything. If you flinch, dodge the question, or make a joke about being old, she might smile or laugh. But inside, the energy changes because she is not looking for youth. She is looking for confidence and a sense that you are still fully alive in your own life and not apologizing for the years you have lived. The men who stand out at this age are not the ones trying to look younger. They are the ones who are at peace with their life. They are men who can say without waiting that they are old enough to know what matters and young enough to still enjoy the ride. Or they might say with a grin that you have to choose between their age or their attitude. I once spoke to a man named Rick. He was 64 with silver hair and a sharp style. He told me about a talk he had at a jazz lounge. The woman was in her late 40s or early 50s, smart and elegant. After some easy talking, she leaned in and asked how old he was really. Rick thought he was being clever and asked if he was too old for her. She laughed, but not in the way he wanted. He felt the spark go out almost immediately. Later that night, he realized he did not just dodge the question, he dodged the moment. That is what most men miss. These questions are not interviews, they are invitations. When you answer them with doubt or make fun of yourself, she hears that message clearly. Under the surface, what is happening is simple. As we get older, we carry more history and more fears about whether we are still seen. Women feel that energy, and when they ask something like this, they are not curious about your age, they are curious about your life. So the next time a woman asks how old you are, do not look for a punchline. Do not treat it like a trap, treat it like a door. If she is asking, she is already thinking maybe. Your answer decides if that door stays open. Another question that catches many men off guard is why you are not married. At first, it can sound personal or even judgmental, but when a woman asks this with a gentle tone and real curiosity, it is not a trial. It is interest wrapped in caution. She is not digging into your past just to hear stories. She is really asking if you are emotionally available now and if there is room in your life for someone like her. This is where many good men fail. Some start telling their whole romantic history and talk about divorce or heartbreak. Others get defensive and brush it off with a bitter laugh, saying they tried marriage once and never would again. Both answers do the same thing by closing the window she just opened. She is not looking for a full explanation. She is listening to how you handle the answer and whether you are at peace with your past or still dragging it behind you. A better response is simple and honest without being heavy. You could say life kept you busy, but you have space now for something real, or that you just have not met the right woman yet until now. I remember a man named Gerald. He was 67 and had been a widower for a long time. He told me about a woman he met at a garden. They started talking about plants, and after a while, she asked why a man like him was not married. He froze and gave a stiff answer about how things did not work out and changed the subject. A week later, she stopped coming to the garden. Later, he said he did not realize she was asking because she was thinking about them. He thought she was just being polite. That is the pattern. These moments arrive quietly and look like casual questions until you understand them after she is gone. This is powerful. She is feeling something but does not want to be vulnerable unless you show her it is safe. If your answer sounds bitter, she steps back. If it sounds calm and open, it tells her everything she needs to know. When someone asks why you are not married, give her a reason to wonder what could come next. Another question that often shows up is if you date younger women. This question throws many men off. Some hear it as a compliment, while others treat it like a trap. But when a woman asks this, she is not asking about your dating record. She is checking your openness. She is asking if you could see someone like her as more than just a friend. She is not looking for a simple yes or no. She is listening for whether you make her feel seen and respected. She wants to know if the connection happening right now matters more to you than a number. Men mess this up when they brag about younger dates or shut it down by saying they are way too old for her. Both answers miss the point because she is really asking if she has a chance. A better answer keeps the focus on the connection. You can say you do not date by age, but by energy and how you connect. I knew a man named Marcus who was 59. He met a woman at a bookstore who was in her mid-40s. They talked and grabbed coffee. Then she asked if he usually dates younger women. He smiled and said he likes women who bring good energy and that the age does not matter as much as the connection. She smiled with real interest, and that led to dinner and more. That is the power of being present and not fumbling when the question is not about what it sounds like. When a woman asks this, she wants to explore the possibility without putting herself too far out there. She wants to know you will meet her halfway. At this stage of life, attraction is about responding with clarity and kindness. When she asks if you date younger women, that door is already open right in front of you. The real question is if you step through it or let it slip away. This next one may sound like small talk, but when a woman asks what kind of woman you usually go for, she is comparing and checking to see if she fits the picture in your mind. This is not about a checklist. It is about seeing if she has a chance to be that person. Many men make the mistake of listing traits like being athletic or liking travel. They fail to understand that she is watching closely to see how you view women. She wants to know if you are stuck chasing an image or if you are open to a real connection. The better move is to speak about qualities that matter, like being thoughtful or curious. Notice how those are things she can recognize in herself. If she is asking the question, she probably hopes she fits your answer. I spoke with a man named Elliot who was 62. He met a woman through a volunteer project and they connected easily. One day she asked him what kind of woman he usually goes for. He said he likes someone calm who makes a place feel peaceful. She did not say anything then, but later she stayed to help him clean up and said she was hoping she was his type. When you answer with presence, you create space for attraction to grow. This question is a way for her to gather clues to decide if she should move closer or pull back. So do not describe a fantasy, describe the connection you want. When a woman asks if you are always this charming, it usually comes with a smile. It sounds like a compliment, but she is doing two things. She is noticing the spark and testing how you handle it. This is a moment when attraction comes to the surface. She is really asking if you can stay present without hiding behind a joke. Many men pull back and make a joke about what day of the week it is, and the spark fades. A better response stays light but grounded, like saying you only act that way around someone who brings it out in you. This tells her you are not afraid of the moment. Alan was 68 and was asked this at a party. He asked her back if she was always this curious or if he was just lucky. She held his gaze longer after that. This question is about chemistry and moving towards something deeper. Your role is simply to accept the moment. When a woman asks why you do not have a girlfriend, she is wondering if there is room for someone like her. She is asking if you are emotionally open. Many men sound closed when they say they are set in their ways or like their freedom. The best answer leaves space for hope. You might say you have been waiting for something that feels real. William was 71 and said he spent time learning how to be a better man and was now ready for a better kind of love. The woman's eyes never left his after that. Women are also afraid of being rejected, so they ask brave questions hidden as curiosity. How you answer tells her if it is safe to go deeper. Finally, there is the question of whether you would ever date someone like her. This is very close to a confession. She is placing herself in front of you and feeling vulnerable. Many men freeze here or change the subject, which makes her pull back. The best answer is honest, like saying, you would be lucky too. Charlie was 66 and was asked this on a walk. He said he already was in his mind. She took his hand and did not let go. These questions are not casual. They are doors being unlocked. The real question is whether you choose to step forward when the moment arrives. Nearly all men who are older do not notice the tiny shift in a woman's voice when she decides she likes them. They are waiting for a loud signal that never comes because adult attraction is quiet. It lives in the gaps between the words. After you have mastered the first few questions, you will run into another one that sounds like a critique but is actually a deep compliment. She might look at your life, your home, or your hobbies and ask how you managed to do it all alone. On the surface, it sounds like she is talking about your independence. In reality, she is looking at the space next to you and wondering if it is empty by choice or by accident. She is asking if you have become so comfortable being solitary that a woman would only be an intrusion. If you answer by bragging about how much you love your peace and how you never need anyone, she will believe you and she will leave you to it. But if you answer by saying that you have built a good life, but the one thing missing is someone to share the view with, you have given her a permission slip to get closer. You are showing her that you are strong enough to be alone, but man enough to want company. This is the balance she is looking for. She does not want to rescue you, and she does not want to be a hobby. She wants to be a partner. Another question that comes up when things start to get a little more serious is when she asks what your friends would say about you. This is a very clever move. She is tired of hearing how you describe yourself, and she wants to know how the world sees you. She is looking for consistency. If you get nervous and try to sound like a hero, she will see right through it. If you are honest and say your friends would say you are stubborn but loyal or quiet but reliable, she trusts that. She is looking for the real man, not the polished version. These moments are all about truth. By the time you reach this stage of life, you should know that games are for people with time to waste. She knows this too. That is why she asks these sideways questions. She is protecting her heart while trying to find yours. When she asks about your favorite memory or where you feel most at home, she is building a map of your soul. She is checking to see if your values line up with hers. If you stay alert and keep your eyes open, you will see that she isn't just talking to pass the time. She is interviewing for a position she hopes you will offer her. Every soft word and every curious look is a brick in a bridge she is trying to build between your world and hers. The only thing you have to do is keep building from your side. Don't let the conversation end at the surface. Dive a little deeper, stay a little longer, and be brave enough to admit that you noticed she was asking for a reason. That is the difference between a man who grows old alone and a man who finds a new beginning when he least expects it. As things progress, you will likely encounter another common inquiry that feels like a simple observation about your lifestyle. She might look around at your home or listen to your stories and ask if you ever get lonely living the way you do. Many men hear this as a slight or a sign of pity, so they quickly put up a wall. They talk about how much they love their silence, their hobbies, and their freedom. While it is good to be independent, an answer that is too firm tells her that there is no seat available at your table. What she is actually doing is measuring the opening in your life. She is wondering if you have closed yourself off to the world, or if you are simply waiting for the right person to break the silence. A better way to respond is to acknowledge that while you have built a life you are proud of, the quiet moments are always better when they are shared. This tells her that you are stable but still have a heart that is open to connection. It changes the dynamic from a man who is hiding to a man who is ready. Another question that often follows is when she asks what you are still looking to achieve or what is left on your bucket list. On the surface, it sounds like talk about travel or career goals. But what she is really checking for is your fire. She wants to know if you have retired from life itself or if you still have passion moving through your veins. A man who has no goals and no curiosity is a man who has stopped growing, and that is a major red flag for a vibrant woman. She isn't looking for a man who wants to climb Everest, but she is looking for a man who still has a reason to get out of bed with a smile. When you talk about your interests, whether it is learning a new skill, visiting a place you've never been, or simply becoming a better version of yourself, you are showing her that you are still evolving. This is incredibly attractive because it suggests that life with you will be an adventure rather than a slow fade into the background. She may also ask you about your relationship with your family or your oldest friends. This isn't just polite interest. She is looking at your track record of loyalty and how you handle the people who have known you the longest. She wants to see if you are a man who burns bridges or a man who maintains them. If you speak about your loved ones with warmth and respect, it signals to her that you are capable of long-term care and stability. Even if your past is complicated, the way you speak about those complications tells her if you have found peace or if you are still carrying old wars inside you. Eventually, she might ask a question that feels a bit more pointed, like what is the one thing you would change about your past if you could? This is a big moment. She is looking for your level of self-awareness. A man who says he would change nothing often comes across as arrogant or dishonest, while a man who has a long list of regrets comes across as defeated. The middle ground is where the magic happens. Sharing a small, honest reflection shows that you have learned from your journey. It proves that you are a man who can look in the mirror and take responsibility. When you answer these questions with honesty instead of a script, you stop being a stranger and start being a possibility. These quiet inquiries are the tools she uses to see if your soul matches the man she sees standing in front of her. If you stay present and listen to the meaning behind the words, you will realize that she isn't just passing the time, she is inviting you to be part of hers. One of the most revealing questions a woman will ask as you get closer is what a typical Sunday looks like for you. It sounds like she is just curious about your routine, but she is actually trying to see where she might fit into your world. She is picturing your life in slow motion to see if it feels inviting or if it is too rigid for anyone else to join. If you describe a day that is packed with solo activities and no room for change, she will feel like she would be an interruption. If you describe a day that is relaxed and open, you are telling her that your life has space for a partner. You do not have to change your life for her, but you do have to show her that your life is worth joining. She might also ask you what you think is the most important thing you have learned about women over the years. This is a big test of your character. If you answer with a complaint or a cynical remark about how women are difficult, you have failed. She is looking for a man who has grown wise, not a man who has grown bitter. A response that shows you value communication, kindness, or the way a woman views the world tells her that you are a safe place for her heart. It shows that you have paid attention during your life and that you respect the feminine spirit. This makes her feel seen and appreciated before the relationship has even fully started. At some point, she will likely ask what makes you feel the most proud. Many men go straight to their career or the money they have made. While those things matter, a woman at this stage of life is looking for your heart. She wants to hear about the people you have helped, the children you have raised, or the obstacles you have overcome. She is looking for what you value when the lights go down and the work is done. Your pride tells her about your soul. If you can talk about your life with a sense of quiet fulfillment, she will see a man who is grounded and solid. You might also hear her ask if you ever think about moving or starting over somewhere new. This is not just a question about real estate. She is asking about your sense of adventure and your willingness to change. She wants to know if you are stuck in your ways or if you are still open to the surprises that life can offer. Even if you love exactly where you are, showing that you are open to new experiences tells her that being with you will not be a static or boring existence. It shows her that the book of your life still has many blank pages left to be written. Finally, she may ask you what you find most beautiful in a person. This is her way of asking if you see more than just the surface. If you talk about physical traits, she will feel like she has to compete with an image. If you talk about things like a kind spirit, a quick wit, or the way someone handles a challenge, she will feel like she can truly be herself around you. She is looking for a man who appreciates the depth of a person because she wants to be loved for more than just how she looks. When you answer these questions with depth, you are telling her that you are the kind of man who stays when things get real. You are showing her that you are not just looking for a date, but for a true connection that matters. As your bond grows stronger, she might ask what you miss most about being young. This feels like a trip down memory lane, but it is actually a very focused test. She is trying to see if you live in the past or if you are happy in the present. If you focus only on your old strength or your old looks, she hears a man who is mourning a person who no longer exists. She wants to know if you can find joy in the man you are today. A great way to answer is to admit that while you liked the energy of youth, you wouldn't trade it for the clarity and peace you have now. This tells her that you are not looking back with regret, but looking forward with a full heart. It shows her that you are stable and content with your life as it is. Another question that can pop up is when she asks what your biggest fear is. This is a deep move toward real intimacy. She isn't looking for a list of things that scare you, like spiders or heights. She is asking if you are brave enough to be vulnerable. In a world where men are taught to always be tough, showing a bit of your human side is incredibly attractive to a woman over 50. If you can honestly say that you fear losing your spark or not making the most of the time you have left, she feels a sudden and strong connection to you. It shows her that you are real and that you have a soul she can talk to. It proves you aren't just a tough shell, but a man with depth. She may also ask what you think makes a relationship work at this stage of life. This is her way of checking your relationship IQ. She wants to know if you have learned from your mistakes or if you are going to repeat the same old patterns. If you talk about the importance of laughter, space, and simple kindness, she will feel a sense of relief. She is looking for a partner who understands that life is too short for drama. By sharing a mature view of love, you are telling her that a life with you would be easy, supportive, and meaningful. You are letting her know that you value the person more than the ego. Eventually, she might ask you how you want to be remembered. This is the ultimate question about your legacy and your character. It sounds heavy, but you can keep it light and sincere. When you talk about being a man who was kind, someone who showed up for people, or someone who never lost his sense of wonder, you are painting a picture of your true self. She is listening to see if your values align with hers. If she sees a man who wants to leave the world a little better than he found it, she will want to be part of that journey. These questions are the threads she uses to weave a connection. If you catch them and pull them close, you will find that the door she opened isn't just a way to talk, but a way to build a brand new life together. As you spend more time together, she might ask what you would do if you had an entire week with no responsibilities at all. This sounds like a fun hypothetical, but it is actually a search for your true essence. She wants to know if you are a man who is addicted to being busy, or if you are someone who knows how to actually live. If your answer is only about work or chores, she sees a man who is already occupied. If you describe a week of discovery, relaxation, or simple pleasures, she can see where she might fit into that picture. She is checking to see if your life is a destination she would actually want to visit. She might also ask what the best piece of advice you ever received was. This is a very smart way to learn about your mentors and the rules you live by. When you share a piece of wisdom that changed your life, you are showing her your moral compass. You are telling her what you believe in without giving a long lecture. If the advice you share is about being honest, staying curious, or being resilient, she feels a sense of security. She knows that she is dealing with a man who has a foundation. It tells her that you are not just floating through life, but that you are anchored by principles that matter. Another question that often comes up is when she asks what you find most challenging about being single at this age. This is a very direct opening for you to be honest about your desire for a partner. If you act like everything is perfect and you have no needs, she will think you are self-sufficient to a fault. If you admit that you miss having someone to share a laugh with or a person to check in with at the end of the day, you are being brave. You are admitting that you have a human need for connection. This makes her feel like her presence could actually make a difference in your life. It moves the conversation from two people talking to two people who might need each other. She may also ask you about the last time you tried something completely new. She is looking for your spirit of adventure. Many people slow down as they age and stop trying new things, but a woman who is still full of life wants a man who can keep up with her, whether it was a new food, a new hobby, or a new way of thinking. Showing that you are still willing to be a beginner is very powerful. It shows that your mind is still open and that you haven't decided that you know everything already. It proves that there is still room for surprises in your world. Finally, she might ask what you think is the biggest difference between the man you were at 30 and the man you are now. This is the ultimate test of your growth. If you answer by talking about your physical changes, you have missed the point. If you talk about how you have become more patient, more grateful, and more aware of what really matters, she will be deeply impressed. She is looking for the wisdom that only comes with years. When you show her that you have used your time on this earth to become a better, kinder, and more focused version of yourself, she realizes that she isn't just looking at a man who is getting older. She is looking at a man who is getting better.